Hello.
How are you?
Good.
Hey,
Sam. How you doing? Good to meet you.
What's your name? I'm sorry.
Jeff. Pfeiffer. Yeah.
Jeff.
Yeah.
Very cool. Where are you coming from?
Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Yeah.
And was there weather problems? Is that?
I really don't know. The airplane just said their crew was late and had to cancel.
That is the most infuriating.
They were drunk.
Yeah, so,
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sure they were
Yeah. Right.
If
you could just say your name and affiliation, we can start.
All right. So Jeff Pfeiffer, Dish Entertainment Magazine. So I wanted to talk to the two of you about the origins of the show. It's obviously a fascinating historical premise, but I was wondering what particularly drew you to go forward with a dramatic presentation.
You know, for me, I knew the broad strokes of the history. I'm a former journalist and book nerd. I do a lot of research when I'm working on a project. I read a book about the Manhattan Project and life at Los Alamos in the 40s, and then another, and then 5 more, and 10 more after that. The thing that was really fascinating to me was not only how complicated the interpersonal dynamics were in this place. You know, it was a really human story, not a big historical story, but a story about families and spouses and kids, and but also the extent to which it seemed to hold a mirror up to the present day. It's really, I think, a great American origin story that has a lot to say about who we've become and how we got here.
Right. Now, obviously, the actual story has a finish to it, so
I'm sorry, I just need you to lean back a little bit.
Okay,
Sorry,
yeah.
thank you.
The actual historical story has a finish to it, so do you
Well, I would actually
expect
take
that to cause issues if the show goes on for seasons?
I would actually take exception to that. I mean, I actually think that it's a story that still hasn't ended. And the story of Los Alamos extended well beyond the end of a Second World War. To us, when we talk about it, we see this really not as the story of the end of World War II, but the story of the birth of a different America, a superpower. And I think we're still trying to figure out how to deal with secrecy as a culture and what our moral relationship is with weapons of mass destruction. I mean, all of those stories had their origins in this time and place.
Gotcha. What are some of the challenges in directing this in terms of not just getting the period right, but getting certain lighting and everything?
Yeah. Well, I think the biggest challenge, I think there's a challenge to directing every episode right now, but for me, the really great challenge was how to bring this script to life, how to take something that was a city that was created. It was sort of Atlantis. I mean, it's sort of as science fiction as that. You couldn't go to a little town and go, hey, I found a little town, and sort of looks like the 40s, and you know, we take out the air conditioners and we could, there were no streets, there was no pavement, there was no sidewalks, there was no street lights, there was no, this was a completely thrown together city that the government had to do immediately, and it was constantly in transition. And so it was the challenge of how do you recreate a world that felt as transitional as the world of Los Alamos at that moment. Los Alamos, now you go there, it's a big town. It looks like a lot of other cities. That's not what it looked like in 1943, and that was the real challenge of how to do that on a basic cable budget in a world that you wanted to be as authentic as possible.
Right. Are you shooting it all in Los Alamos, or just still basically?
Well, all in Santa Fe. I mean, all in New Mexico. We're shooting the whole thing in New Mexico, and most of it right here on the sets that we've built in Santa Fe. And then there's right outside the outskirts of Santa Fe, there's a ranch that we use to build other things that show a lot more of the vista of what it was that was surrounding this little, you know, secret town.
Okay. Well, great. Well, I appreciate your time. Thanks.
You bet. You
Thank
bet.
you
Happy
so
you made
much.
it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry it was such a tough struggle.
No problem.
Okay. Take care.